The versions and not all of the versions are very consistent. Okay, so that's a question we get a lot. Why do we need to use a client? Because most people are really trying to push back on the distribution of a new client just for the PST migration project. Though we've been in this business for a long time, so back in 2006, 2008, when we were doing the first large-scale PST migration, we were doing that without a client. And the challenges and the problems you run into there is multitude. One of them is that you need to get the user to detach the file so you can actually copy it. So you do that either by sending a mail or you try to call up the user. By sending a mail, I can guarantee users won't react. So you try to do calls, again, very cumbersome, get the guy on the phone when he's in front of his PC in the office so we can actually copy it. And also, even if we get the guy to detach the PST file from his Outlook, then we still need to copy it in a sensible time around that. So the coordination between the user actually detaching it and the uploading was extremely difficult. Then what we did was we just repeat the whole thing and wait until the user actually detaches it. But there it becomes very difficult to control the number of copies going on at any one time. So you would have waiting on a lot of users and suddenly 100 users did it on the same time and the network just got killed. So a lot of difficulty in managing the whole process. And so the other thing that we also found, and which particularly has become an even bigger problem, is the size of these files. Because if you want to detach something and copy it on a normal without a client, then you can just use a normal copy function or some other movement that moves the file. But if you want to copy a 24 gigabyte file, it's never going to finish and or it's going to overload the network. So again here, very, very difficult to do anything, okay? And manage it in such a fashion that you don't do any infrastructure harm in the sense, or you don't make it very transparent for the user because he will then be without his file for a prolonged time, which is not what you really want in these projects. So, and if for some reason after we've copied, we fail to ingest it, then you need to go back and actually give the file back to the user, which without a client becomes very, very difficult. And last, and very annoying, is that you try to go to security in a company and get an account that has access to client data on clients, on home drives, and on shared drives and project drives. It's nearly impossible, especially in finance or regulated businesses. Very, very difficult. So in 2008, 2009, we started the client-based migration. And what it really gives you is the access to the data under the user's credential. And that's a big, big benefit because I can then manage what I do with the data. I can detach it, I can attach it, I can do whatever because I'm under the user's credential. And also it gives me the ability to control the upload, i.e. when do we start, stop, when the user's moving, and we can control the bandwidth when the user, for example, in the middle of the, a 16 gigabyte upload goes from the office to his home office with an ADSL. And we take the load down so he can still do his daily work. That's all managed by the client. Fully impossible without a client. And we can control the access to the file without actually disturbing the user. So with the client, we have capabilities to actually take a copy of the file and move it off in the background without the user even seeing that we're doing that. So fully transparency, which is what you really want in these kind of projects when you're dealing with thousands of users, okay? So the other aspect that we at least see a lot in Europe or other countries with data protection laws is that you want to get the user involved in what should be migrated and what should not be migrated. So it's actually blessed by the user that this data is moving into a corporate archive, which is simply not possible without the client. And a side benefit of having the client is that you actually also give the operations team a set of tools with which they can help and manage the process. So I, as an operator, can with 2 clicks detach a file from a user. Or if something goes wrong, I can actually attach it again. And or the process that controls deletion saying, oh, it's actually ingested, but let me wait a few days before I actually go and delete it on the user's computer. So all in all, there's no way, and I repeat, no way that you can do any large-scale PST migrations without having a client. And I believe personally it's a small cost compared to the downside you have without a client. And the package is really small. It's pre-packaged. We've done plenty of rollouts with other customers. So I would really recommend going by a client.